What's up guys, welcome to the Chess Giant. This is Solomon Erdell, and in today's video we're going to be going over the whale variation. Yes guys, the whale variation, one of the weirdest named openings in the history of chess. And it starts off with e4, and it's actually a response to the move e5. Against the move e5, there's so many solid options here for white, including the main line with knight f3, the King's Gambit, Danish Gambit, bishop's opening with bishop c4, the Vienna Game with knight c3. There's so many solid options, but the whale variation adds on to this with the move c4. What on earth is white doing? Well guys, with the whale variation, white is basically setting up a Canal Attack type position with a pawn on e4 and c4 both clamping down on the d5 square and trying to get a space advantage. However, before we hop in, a couple fun facts about whales, I guess. Depending on the species, whales can live up to 200 years and can weigh 333,000 pounds in weight, which equals about 24 elephants, 278 cows, or 1,332 chess giants. But anyways, guys, back to the chess. The three black responses that we're going to go over, which are the most popular options at the master and grandmaster level, are c6, knight c6, and g6. Let's first take a look at the most popular option with c6. And c6, guys, really does make a lot of sense. Here white is clamping down on d5, so why not fight for that square and create a potential d5 option for us? However, we're not going to let black play d5. We're going to play knight f3, attacking the pawn on e5, and after the move d6, defending the pawn, we're now going to break open with d4. Guys, in the whale variation, whenever you have the chance, break open with d4. And after a move like knight d7, we're now just going to play natural developmental chess with knight c3, bishop e2, h3. We're now going to castle kingside. And after a move like a6, play bishop e3. Why did we play h3? To stop the knight from coming to g4. And as you guys can see, white has a very nice position here. And if black ever takes on d4, I actually think that this helps white out a ton, as we can now take with the knight. And after a move like rook e8, play knight f5, putting pressure on both the bishop on e7 and the pawn on d6. White has a clear attacking edge here. So yes, guys, against the move c6, we're going to play knight f3, attack the pawn on e5, and break through with d4. What about the move g6? g6 looks to play bishop g7 and attack the square on d4. However, we're not going to play knight f3 in this instance. We're going to break immediately with d4. And if e takes d4, black is actually in a bit of trouble right now, because after queen takes d4, at move 4 in this game, the queen on d4 is attacking the rook on h8, and after a move like knight f6, we can now play bishop g5, and after bishop e7, knight c3, here white has an advantage development, space, and coordination of the pieces, not to mention, with this g6 move, both the h6 and g7 squares are extremely weak. So guys, as tempting as it may be to take this pawn on d4, I really don't think this is the best option. The best option is probably a move like d6, but after d6, we're simply going to continue with knight c3 and continue our usual development with knight f3. After a move like knight d7, play bishop e2, castle kingside, play a move like bishop e3, and in this instance, we don't really need to worry about the move knight g4 attacking the bishop on e3, because we can now play bishop g5. And the idea here is that if f6, we can now bring the bishop back to d2, and here black has a very cramped and uncomfortable position. So guys, that covers g6, in which we immediately break through with the aggressive d4 in the center of the board. What about the move knight c6? Knight c6 is actually the move I recommend for black players here, using a minor piece to immediately attack the square on d4. And in this case, we're going to play knight f3, and after bishop c5, play knight c3. I think this is black's best option. Put the knight on c6, put the bishop on c5, and try to control that weak d4 square. As you guys can notice, we have a trade-off. Black trying to control the d4 square, while white is trying to control the d5 square. Now, in this position, I think that d6 is by far the best option for black, but knight f6 could easily be played. And against knight f6, we're now going to play knight takes e5, snatching the pawn off. And the idea here is that after knight takes e5, we now have d4. Now, we can't play knight takes e5 before we play knight c3, because if the knight wasn't here, bishop b4 check could come into play. But now, as you can see, this pawn is forking both the bishop and the knight. And after a move like bishop b4, we can take on e5. And after a move like knight takes e4, play queen d4, centralizing the queen and attacking the knight. And after knight takes e3, take the knight back, play queen g4, an aggressive move. Castling kingside doesn't work because we have bishop h6 with mating net ideas. And after a move like king f8, we have queen e4. Obviously, white's pawn structure isn't the best, but white has an advantage in development, space, and honestly, I think has some attacking chances here. White is going to continue to naturally develop the pieces, keep the pressure on black, and enjoy an advantage in the middle game. But guys, as I've mentioned, I think that knight f6 is a mistake because it allows knight takes e5 and d4. So what about the move d6? Well guys, against the move d6, we obviously can't push with d4 because we only have 2 defenders and black has 3 attackers. So instead, we're simply going to play d3, and after knight ge7, continue with bishop e3, offering up the trade. It's really not in black's best interest to take this bishop, and after a move like castles, we now have bishop e2, and our plan now is to castle kingside. But what if black plays knight d4? I'm just trying to show you guys how to be best prepared for this opening. I mean, it seems as if black has a clear advantage after knight d4, but here we can actually castle. And after the move knight ec6, further supporting the knight, we can now play knight b5, creating a dynamic position here. And I would probably put the position at around even. I think that depending on your style of play, either side could feel comfortable. I think this is the best line for black. And if you plug it into a computer, it will say that black is slightly better. But guys, if this is the best that black has, I think that the whale variation is a dangerous option for white. If you'd like to learn the birds opening, another flexible but strong opening for white, click the video to the left. If you'd like to explore more chess openings in general, click the playlist to the right. Leave a comment to let me know what other videos you'd like to see covered on this channel. And as always, I appreciate you guys a ton. Thanks for watching. Peace.